guys define what hate speech is?
So it's defined in great detail in the policy in terms of like certain things that are allowed, certain things that are not allowed. But the point is there's this section of the content policy that that specifically mandates like the things that you can do and can't do on Patreon, the platform itself, not like on Twitter, but on Patreon, the platform itself.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Everyone, this is Zach. I'm the lead developer at NeoZeno. I just want to make a quick video while Sam's out doing business stuff. So this Patreon thing has been coming up a lot. We've been talking about it and what it means for us and what it means for society, and we're really unnerved by it. Let me go ahead and disclaim that, like, I don't like Sargon, I don't like Milo, or any of the other people who got kicked off necessarily, but it's really disturbing that Patreon has decided to go past its own platform and start banning people for stuff that, you know, they didn't even do on Patreon. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, I think. It doesn't make any sense that someone would place themselves in the position of a service provider and then all of a sudden decide that they're the arbiters of what's right and what's wrong, and that they're going to ban certain speech but not others, and not apply the rules fairly because it's all squishy and in a gray area, and they have all this like legal justification to jump through in order to avoid any sort of criticism on the matter. I just firmly believe that if you are a company and you're operating as a service provider in a Western country, you know, it kind of falls to you to protect the basic ideals by which you were able to open that company in the first place. Free speech obviously being one of them. I mean, you're obviously not legally obligated, but surely you would do better business and better serve the intellect of your audience if you were to allow any sort of competing ideas to let them fail or succeed on their own merit. And the reason, honestly, why it's more unnerving for us is because we're a brand new platform and we're using all these other services as our backbone. Patreon was one of the smaller ones for us, but it's still there, and who knows, if we say the wrong thing to the wrong person, they pull it out from under us sometime in the future. Our entire business model will be based around holding journalists' feet to the fire. If we ruffle the wrong feathers with that sort of thing, then who knows, you know, PayPal or MasterCard or some other organization will decide that we are committing some sort of hate speech, or in this climate, maybe we shouldn't be bashing the press. Like, who knows what they'll say in the future? And honestly, it's sickening that these corporations are almost bending over backwards to find any sort of justification to pull these people. That's why I wanted to make this video real quick. I just wanted to illustrate to people that NeoZeno as a platform, once we actually launch the app and we have people interacting and rating journalism and talking about news and stuff like that, we're going to protect free speech. All right, we're not going to capitulate to these people. We're not going to bow to some unseen force saying, oh, well, you shouldn't say that word in that context, you should really be this. Oh, and what's your intersectionality look like? Maybe you should blah 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 blah. No, we're not going to deal with that sort of thing. And as discouraging as that all is, it is kind of encouraging that as these different platforms have kind of gone tyrannical and started pulling their weight and throwing it around, alternatives have begun to pop up, and they've been relatively successful. I mean, with Twitter, you had Gab, of course. With YouTube, you have BitChute and whatever. I really hope that at some point, NeoZeno gets to fill that role a little bit. We would like to be able to build those tools, those alternatives, and hopefully provide a safe haven for people to exercise free speech. I mean, and, you know, eventually we're going to get some flack for it. I guarantee it. But I'm a firm believer that free speech protects unpopular speech, because popular speech doesn't need to be protected. If we were to go around and try to get rid of all the bad thoughts and the bad ideas, then honestly there wouldn't be enough friction to generate heat to power the engine that is the economy, the world, everything. I don't care what your ideology is. I would rather you share it, and then either we laugh at you or we talk about it. I mean, that's the way this thing is supposed to work. We're not supposed to have these corporate leaders coming in and deciding, oh, well, you could talk about that as long as that fills this and checks this box. But, oh, don't say that word or we'll kick you out. We're not going to have any of that. Yeah. Both Sam and I actually feel very strongly about that. And as long as we're around, we'll fight to protect it by providing those alternative spaces. Yeah, so I suppose that's it. I did want to close with by mentioning something Matt Christensen said on his Sunday video. It was actually pretty salient, and it stuck with me for a while. He said a few months ago, people were telling him that he's not going to be like Alex Jones because he's not a crazy conspiracy theorist. Well, now they're saying, well, you're not going to be like Sargon because you didn't use that word on someone else's stream. I mean, how long before someone says, oh, well, you don't have to worry about getting kicked off of YouTube. You're not a Republican, or you're not a Libertarian, or you're not whatever has fallen out of vogue for the community or society by that point. Where does it stop? At what point do we say, no, speech needs to be protected regardless of how awful it is? And like I said, I don't like Sargon, but I mean, it doesn't really matter what I like. I mean, he despite being British, he's still part of a Western country, and like, they may not have the First Amendment, but they certainly have the idea of free speech. And I'd be willing to extend that to anyone. And so, if he wants to come on our platform and make a fool of himself by saying those things, he's more than welcome to. I'm joking. Please don't dox us. But yeah. So that's about it. This is my first, probably last video. I don't really like making videos. So yeah, make sure to watch Sam's content and keep reading the timelines. We love making those. Those are so great. And look for the app. It's gonna launch on Android probably January. We just started a Gap account too. If you guys want to add us, stuff's in the description. See you around. Bye.